Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Land Use Board meeting of September 7th. We'll begin by saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board and entrance hall of the Beach Haven Municipal Building and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times and the Asbury Park Press. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision for each individual application. Decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Mr. Agello? Mr. Balbo?
Here.
Mrs. Bowmiller? Mrs. Eddles?
Here.
Mr. Jenna?
Here.
Mayor Lambert? Here. Mrs. Leonard?
Here.
Mr. Lofredo?
Here.
Mr. Metal? Mrs. Parker? Mr. Stevens?
Here.
Mr. Tinquist?
Here.
Mr. Wenger?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, I hope everybody had a chance to review the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? I so move, Penny.
Second, Colleen.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. Moving along to the approval of the bills for the August bill list, we have $3,819.10. Right? Is that what you're looking like? That's incorrect.
Oh, I just didn't correct mine.
Oh, can I have a motion to approve the bills?
So move, Penny.
Second.
Thank you.
Who
All
was
in
the second?
favor?
I'm sorry.
Jerry.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bills. Motion approved. New business today is the Mary bulk variance. Bulk variance to permit a second curb cut for a second driveway where only one curb cut per lot frontage is permitted, resulting in a loss of 2 on-street parking spaces for property located at 215 Marine Street, block 118, lot 15. Jim?
Yes, good evening. James Raymond on behalf of the applicant Alexandra Murray. Just one moment. Okay, so the subject property is located at 215 Marine Street, and it's in the historic district. There are currently 2 separate single-family dwellings on the property. So it's in the single-family district, but there's pre-existing nonconformity with respect to the use. It's a 2-family use and has been that way for many years now. And currently, there's 1 driveway opening on the westerly side of the house, and we're proposing to put a second curb cut on the easterly side of the house. And by putting in a second driveway, that would result in 2 on-street parking spaces having to be removed. But currently, there is not sufficient off-street parking on the site because there's 2 single-family dwellings that are required to have 4 off-street parking spaces. Really, they functionally use 2. You could stack 3 on the westerly side, but typically the way it works is that rear unit uses the existing driveway and then the front unit just has street parking. But there's been more development on the street lately. On Marine Street, there's been larger houses that are resulting in more cars. So the applicant, whoever's occupying the first unit, front unit, whether it be the applicant or rentals, they do rent the property sometimes. It's becoming more difficult to get street parking. So looking to have this second driveway opening to allow cars for each unit to park on site. And we're simply asking for a depressed curb. There's stones that are located on the easterly side right now, so that would remain as the surface for the parking. We're not proposing any new paving or anything like that. So it's literally just adding a depressed curb. I know there was discussion early on about whether we needed HPAC approval, but it was ultimately decided that because we were just adding the depressed curb, that there was really nothing for HPAC to weigh in on. So that's the gist of the application. Jim Brzezowski is here to provide testimony regarding the variance plan. Then I also have the applicant present as well. First, I'll call Mr. Brzezowski.
Mr. Brzezowski, do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give before the board this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I guess I didn't need to do that.
You're new, that's why you're not used to.
And actually, go ahead. You
Yeah,
can be sworn in.
If, for the record, my name is James Brzezowski, I'm a licensed professional engineer and professional planner in the state of New Jersey, and an employee at Horn Tyson and Yoder since 1997. I really did this good.
The board accepts Mr. Brzezowski's qualifications?
Yes.
Thank you. I do have one exhibit to mark. Mr. Riso, I don't know if you want me to mark it as two exhibits or one. It's a series of two separate photographs. I can do it as one or two separate exhibits.
Just as long as it's clear for the record, Mr. Reagan. however you'd
Okay,
like to do it,
I'll
it's
just
fine
mark
with
it as one exhibit, I guess. We'll mark it as A1, which consists of a series of two photographs of the subject property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Brzezowski, for purposes of the record, what we've just marked as Exhibit A1, the first photograph depicts a front view of the house from the street and shows particularly where we're proposing the second curb cut. And then the second photograph zooms in more on the westerly existing driveway that's there. Do these two photographs accurately depict the current condition of the site?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and you're familiar with the site? You visited the site before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Thank you. And if you could just, for the board's benefit, go over your plan, the layout of the site and what we're proposing, please.
Sure, the property is located on the north side of Marine Avenue. It's between Beach Avenue and Long Beach or Bay Avenue. It's got 50 foot of frontage on Marine Avenue, 100 foot of depth for a lot area, 5,000 square feet. It's located in the RA single family residential zone. And it's currently developed with two separate single family houses. So with the structures, there's a couple of existing nonconformities. The front house, the steps of the front house projects 0.6 feet over the front property line. The building itself is set back 6.5 feet off the front property line, but the steps encroach over the property line. The rear house has a rear yard setback of 1.8 feet, where 8 foot minimum, is required. And the combined side yard setback is 14.2 feet. And that's taking into consideration the west side of the rear building and the east side of the front building. Taken separately, they both comply with the combined side yard setback, but looking at the property as a whole, we're only providing 14.2 foot of side yard setback, where 16 feet is the minimum. The building coverage existing is 36.1%, where 35% maximum is permitted. And the floor area ratio is at 59.3%, where 50% maximum is permitted. With the two residential units, we're required to provide 4 off-street parking spaces. Currently, there's only 2 off-street parking spaces located on the west side of the building. And we're seeking a variance relief to permit a second driveway opening on the east side of the building to allow a driveway on the eastern side, which would allow us 2 additional off-street parking, which would bring the off-street parking into compliance. In order to do that, it would require the elimination of 2 on-street parking spaces. If you look at the first photo that Mr. Raven provided, as you look at that photograph, there's a white SUV, small SUV located on the right side of the photo. That parking space, the west side of that parking space goes right into like the middle of where we're proposing the depressed curb. So that parking space and the one to the west of it would need to be eliminated in order to create the driveway opening. So we're losing 2 on-street parking, providing 2 off-street parking for this property. In the borough driveway access rules, it allows driveways up to 24 feet wide for a duplex lot. So the combined driveway openings at this property that we're proposing would be 17.6, which is less than the total of 24. And there are instances in the borough where 2 separate driveway openings are permitted, provided there's 2 separate 1-car garages, which is not located on this property. But I'm just pointing out that this isn't completely unique in the borough to have 2 separate driveway openings. It's permitted if you have a house which has 2 1-car garages separated by 22 feet. Driveway openings will be limited to 16 foot. Each driveway opening would have to be 8 foot. So we have an existing 9.6 foot opening, and we're proposing an 8 foot opening. And basically, it doesn't make any sense to reduce the 9.6 down to 8. It doesn't add more on-street parking. So we're seeking to leave the 9.6 foot opening alone, provide a second 8 foot wide opening.
Okay, and in your opinion, Mr. Brzezowski, as a professional planner, do you feel the proposed second curb cut is a better plan for the street than having the on-street parking spaces?
Yes, we've got 2 residential units. We're required to have the 4 off-street parking spaces. So we're going to need the off-street parking. So it doesn't make sense for the folks who are at the property to fight for on-street parking when we can provide the off-street parking. Those cars are going to be there somewhere on Marine Street or Beach Avenue or Long Beach Boulevard or Bay Avenue. You might as well get them off the street.
Okay, and in your opinion, the benefit of adding the parking outweighs any detriment for having the on-street parking spaces removed?
Yes, and to further that argument, I would point out that if one or the other unit were going to have a guest coming over, they could simply move the cars up and create a 3rd spot for the guest off street.
Right, and that brings up another point. With the existing driveway, it's really not practical for the 2 unit owners to share that driveway, correct?
That would require, one unit owner moving their cars to allow the other unit owner to get in or get out.
Okay, yeah, because I think you probably could stack 4 in that westerly driveway if you really wanted to, but it's just not practical with the 2 separate units.
It wouldn't be practical.
And there's no proposed improvements to either of the 2 homes, correct?
No, what's on site is staying as is.
Right, so all of those pre-existing nonconformities that you mentioned are not changing, correct?
They're not changing. Whether this variance is approved or not approved, they're not changing.
I think those are all the questions I have for Mr. Brzezowski.
So asking for variance relief to allow the second driveway, which will eliminate the existing nonconformance of the 2 parking spaces where 4 are required.
I have a question. Just out of curiosity, I saw that the front house was built in 1930. When was the rear house built?
I'm not exactly sure. I'll have the applicant testify. She's owned the property since 1987, about is what she thought, and it's been there since she bought it. When I was looking up records initially, it looks like it was a condominium actually before, at some point before she purchased it, where they were separate units, but then at some point the condominium must have been revoked, and I couldn't find the record of that, but they've been separated. I mean, it's been one tax bill, excuse me, for as far back now as I can see in Beach Haven. So I don't know exactly when that rear one was built, but at least it was before 1987.
I was just curious because I do see the two newer houses and obviously they have a lot of bedrooms, but it appears that this property also had a lot of bedrooms once upon a time. So they were the
Right.
ones who were taking up more of the parking. Just curious. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Is there a calculation of impervious coverage?
Yes, Jimmy, you want to take that?
Oh, certainly. The existing impervious coverage is, where are we at here? 48.1%. And with the two new parking spaces on the east side, it's increasing to 54.6%. So it's basically an increase of 6%. We're putting parking on stones. That increases the impervious.
And that's below the maximum permitted of 60%.
That is, yes.
Any other questions? Well, you made a comment that parking on the street is difficult now. If you take two parking spaces away, it's going to be even more difficult for people on the street to park. So I don't see that as a benefit, it's a benefit for the people that own the property, because if they're renting the property, it makes the whole functioning of the parking and backing out easier. But that's life in Beach Haven in the summer, trying to find a parking space. I mean, I have 5 cars at my house in the summer, and we stack them. And it's a pain, but that's what you have to do.
But the difference between
Yeah.
what you're describing at your house and this situation is everybody in your house is in your house. It's
Right.
not two separate families.
But they're all in the same lot.
They're on the same lot, but the folks
Is this
in the,
property rented?
I believe Mr. Raven said.
At times, yes.
But it's not a standard rent. I mean,
I
it's not
believe,
rented for the summer.
The back unit, I believe it is, and then the front unit is rented sometimes in the summer.
But that situation to rent is a choice by the owner.
Right, I
I mean,
understand.
they're creating this parking nightmare for themselves by renting that house. So, I mean, I don't see it that it's necessary. I think the town needs more street parking than an individual that may rent something on the back of their property. This to me is helping them out. It's not helping the people in Beach Haven. That's just my personal opinion. Anybody else before I?
Yeah, I agree, Bonnie. It's just taking away their problem and passing it on to everybody on the street. I have a problem with that.
I mean, everybody knows when you buy a property here, what you have to deal with. And parking is one of the biggest problems in this town, if not the biggest. So we all have to deal with it during the summer months. Then they all disappear and we have plenty of parking. So if you have to stack parking, you have to stack parking. Whether you rent the place or you don't rent. If you're not renting the place, you don't need it. So, and I feel that it's more important to have parking on the street for everybody else that comes down here. Anybody else before I make a motion to open it to the public?
Mr. Raven, do you want your?
Yeah, I'm
client
gonna have the
testify?
applicant
Okay.
testify as well. So you can go to this.
Mrs. Mary? Ma'am, can you
Raise your hand.
raise your right hand, please? Do you swear affirm the testimony you give before the board this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please speak up a little so everyone can hear you. You can tone it down.
Put that down for her.
There you go. Ms. Murray, you're the owner of the subject property, is that correct?
Yes,
And how long have you been the owner?
38 years.
Okay, and if you could just give a little background, your ownership history of the property. What's the reason for now coming before the board to add this second driveway?
Well, for many years going back, it was always fine. We could always manage. But unfortunately, in the last couple of years, like 3, 4 years, has really gotten so bad that new homes were built right in front of me, on the side of me, and diagonally. And it was changed from, houses that look like mine with 3 bedrooms, a small Cape Cod, to mini mansions, right, with 7 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms. And and that changed everything, to find parking. And we would come down now, and it just happened now since those were built. And it was just really recent that those are big houses and they're rented completely for the whole summer. And they can accommodate each house 18 people. So that makes a lot of additional compared to years ago. That's why we didn't have that problem. But now, so I just, and now I'm trying to come down. I can't find parking. And if I do find a parking, I'm afraid to move my car. If I want to go into town, a little walk, I can't use a bike anymore. And I really can't walk that far either. So I'm kind of stuck in the house. Or I go with my daughter, and then she can, if she loses the parking spot, she will find it somewhere else. But it's to show you that I think last year, we noticed my daughter for the front house, she counted 13 cars just for the one house across the street. And this is just, so that I have no chance to be able to park in front of my house. And that's.
And do you sometimes have 2 or more cars at your house there in the front?
Yeah.
That you occupy in the front?
Yeah.
So by
My
enabling,
daughters come, so we have.
right. So by adding the second driveway, there could be circumstances where you may have 3 cars where getting the 3 cars off the street, even while losing the 2 parking spaces, you're still improving the situation in the street.
But then we could put it in our, in our driveway, in the other new driveway.
Right.
And the thing is, I just find the situation so bad that I'm willing to give up a lot of my yard even, so I will only have a small area for a table and chairs, just so I can put the cars there on the property. So I'm willing, even to do that and give that up.
And I believe you had told me you own the property since about 1987, is that right?
1980, yeah, 38 years.
Okay.
And I'm planning to, to keep it for my daughter.
And as far as the 2 homes on the property, were those homes built and in basically the same condition that they are today when you bought the property?
Oh, yeah, I haven't done any changes to it. It's been like that for 38 years.
And I know Ms. Lenhart had made a comment earlier about how when you buy a property, you understand sort of what you're getting yourself into, but you're saying that circumstances have changed quite a bit since you bought the property almost 40 years ago?
I mean, 40 years ago was, was different.
Right.
Yeah. And, I know progress, we keep.
Any questions for Ms. Murray?
Anybody have any questions?
No.
No?
Go ahead.
So, and this might sound irrelevant, but is the property 50 by 100 or is
Yes, it is 50 by 100.
50 by 100? So there's another way of looking at this, is that if you're going to take 2 public street parking spots away, you're going to be adding 2 additional spots on the property itself. So, it's a give and take kind of thing.
Right.
But the take is you're taking from the people of Beach Haven street parking and you're giving the person that owns the lot extra parking. I feel this woman's pain with all the rentals and the cars. That wasn't caused by land use. I don't know how these big houses get built and how all these humongous houses get built. That's gotta be some zoning issue. And it's something that needs to be dealt with in town, that when somebody comes and brings 13 cars for one house, there's gotta be, make a parking lot, dump them there, put them on a golf cart. I don't know, but I just can't imagine 13 houses, 13 cars at one house. How can that be?
If they have 5 bedrooms, they need 3
Right. they need
off-street
three
parking
off-
spots.
street
So
parking lot.
if they have that many bedrooms, these lots have them. So that's,
Oh, right. So you're saying they have 3 off-street?
well, if a house has 5 bedrooms, they're
I
required to
mean,
have
the new
3.
houses, right, I got that, yeah.
Right. So the
So
question,
10 cars are coming and parking in the street. There's something wrong with that. Something should be done to keep that from happening. I don't know.
well, the township also has capacity limits for rentals.
Right,
So if they have those many cars parked out in front, there seems to be,
well, maybe we.
there
could
seems to
pass
be a
an-
violation going on there.
This isn't our job, but maybe they could pass an ordinance that you can only bring 3 cars. If a house is approved for 3 parking spaces, then if you're gonna rent it and bring 5 families, you're gonna have to do it with 3 cars. So they can't bring 13 cars. But anyway, that's another issue. Anybody else have any comments or not? I'll make a motion to open it to the public.
Just
Are you
one,
done, Jim?
one quick question. On
Yeah.
the east side, I can't tell by the picture. Is that a planter that's there? Is that permanent, or would you consider even moving that to get more parking?
Yes, that would be removed to accommodate the cars, yes.
So you kept saying you could do 3 on one side, possibly 4. And on this side, you could get how many?
How many do you think you could fit on the west side there, or east side, Jim?
Put 3
Prob-
cars there.
Possibly 4 on that,
Probably the same number,
although
as
there's
long
some
as there's.
bushes in the back, it looks like.
I mean, in a sense, just
Yeah.
you'd be up to like 6 that you could actually do
Correct.
within.
Yeah, I would think easily 6. Like if you put 3 on the east and 3 on the west, you could easily get 6
Okay.
off-street
Six,
parking
okay.
spaces.
Okay. And the applicant is telling me that typically 3 is the most they see currently on that west side. But, so you could probably fit 3 on the other side, so 6
That's 6.
comfortably. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. That's all we have.
All right, can I have a motion to open this to the public?
So moved. Kenny. Who was that?
Kenny. Second,
Second, Jerry.
is there anybody in the audience that would like to come up and speak in favor of this application or against it?
How about on- oh, there we go.
Hi,
Aye.
Mayor and Board.
Yeah.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Tara Murray, 1563 Beacon Street, Brookline, Massachusetts.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony you give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I just want to support this application since Jersey born and raised. I've grown up in this house since I was 10 years old. I've seen it go through the changes as mentioned, and we have spent many summers, and we're down here now for a number of weeks, where in the middle of summer, we have counted 13 cars. And it's the tenants that are staying in the house and probably visiting the house across the street. It's the diagonal house. The house next to us hasn't opened yet. So we don't know how many cars that's going to bring. My mom has a 1920s house. It's quaint, it's charming. It's not a mega house. The duplex in the back is small. We only have our family will stay there. It's only my sister and I, our husbands and her kids. And when we come down in July and August, we can't find parking. And it stresses, I feel stressed thinking about it now because I was thinking about it even coming down Labor Day weekend. Can I find a spot? When my mom comes down, she's nearly 80, can she find a spot? So it's just, it's changed, not necessarily for the best with these mega homes. And I realize that's a different issue with the township, but I want our family to be happy and enjoy our house instead of coming down here stressed and worried where we're going to park. Because it really does matter, especially for my mom, who has owned the house for 40 years. She's been the first one on the block. A lot of people came after her. These houses were built after. We have no intention to change our house, is to leave it as is. So I just wanted to express that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Anyone else? Is there anybody on Zoom?
See Mr. Schumacher.
Mr. Schumacher?
Yes, I live at 227 Marine Street and
Can you
I
raise your
have-
right hand, Mr. Schumacher, please?
yep, go ahead.
That's okay. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give before the board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Thank you very much.
I have to agree with the homeowners in this situation. I can verify that we've seen 13. My wife actually counted 15 cars for the house across the street, which is the 7-bedroom house. And then there's a house right up from them that's a 6-bedroom house that generally always has 6 to 7 cars. But that's what was allowed. I think I agree with the chairwoman that, a 7-bedroom house should not just have 3 spaces when a 4-bedroom has to have 2. But the thing that I would like to support is the fact that the way this house is built on the property, and I was a builder and I did a lot of stuff with building, it is actually set up where they're going to be able to have the 2 driveways without encroaching on any neighbor. They're actually giving up some of their sitting area to do this. So when you look at the house, there's basically enough room on each side, east and west, for them to perform parking. And it would actually probably help the situation on the street by, you're giving up 2 spaces, but they're probably going to end up with less cars on the street. So I just want to, I wasn't going to say anything one way or the other, but in listening to the questions and stuff, I really feel that for the betterment of the neighborhood, approving the curb depression for them on the east side of the house would definitely be beneficial to the neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Anybody else on Zoom?
Seeing none, none in the audience. Okay, can I have a motion?
Can I make a comment real quick?
Pardon?
I was looking at this myself.
Okay.
and Obviously, the people in the house, if they're coming down, they're going to be parking on the street. So they're going to be taking up 2 parking spaces anyway. So in this situation, I think it's a little different, and I think the curb cut may actually be warranted. Otherwise, same thing. The 2 people that are looking to park next to the house are going to have to find 2 on-street parking spaces anyway and use them. So it's 2 for 2.
But they can park 4 cars on the west side.
It's
They
very
can do that.
difficult to back them out. I mean, you're backing across the sidewalk. It's hard enough just having 2
Right.
cars there to back out.
I
If you
feel
put
their
them-
pain. I do it all the time.
I'm just giving you my comment.
I know, I know.
The other thing, Bonnie, around town, you see handicap
Right.
designated spaces. Can you request a handicap space in front of your house?
You
So that
can.
might be an alternative solution And then there's that space that's there
Right.
probably 99% of the time.
Well, that'll take up two spaces, because you need a handicap and you need a loading zone.
Yeah.
So you're gonna lose two for one.
The ones I've seen aren't done that.
I know you've seen them that way, but technically, if somebody really wanted to push the issue, they're not conforming.
You need 12 feet, right?
You need at least a 5-foot loading area and an 8-foot space. So you need, so you're gonna kill two
Well, They don't have
spaces
to be
anyway.
van loaded.
Well, they don't, but you still need the room. You're gonna kill two spaces for one.
There's some room
Mhm.
for that westerly driveway to act as that loading area.
Yeah,
If you follow me there.
no, I follow you, but it's,
So they can use that.
right, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's gonna be the one that gets it.
Right.
There may be other
There's no
people out
question
there
about that.
that are
But they
gonna
better be
park.
handicapped or.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So basically, out of a 50-foot wide lot,
mhm.
40 feet of it would not be able to park.
Well, they
Because
want an
you're gonna have one left in front, right?
Well, no, I think you have two in front because they shifted it over. If you look at the plan,
Right,
they're
I
keeping
said-
two in front. And then there's the driveway on the west side, and then they're creating the driveway on the east side, which eliminates two. But you
Which two? The one where the white cars parked?
Yeah, you're still getting two in the front, I believe, right, Jim?
Yes.
You're sliding it over a little bit to maintain two in front of the house.
So the
mean, I
person
haven't
that will
seen-
be without will be the one,
Right.
the new house next door.
Well, I mean, the
They
two
won't
are,
have
in-
street parking because,
the two are in front of this house that they're gonna still have on the street, and then you'd have lose two and you'll have the curb cut.
so they'll have two in front of their house and then they can park 8
Right.
cars on their lot.
So you're losing
They
one
can
space.
park 4 and 4.
No, you're losing two.
You're losing two?
You're losing two spaces.
Yeah.
The other two are there, but they're shifted, so you have to slide them over a little bit to keep them. If you look at the plan.
And the next 100 feet is two lots to the west,
West.
100-foot, two 50-foot lots.
Yeah,
There's a total of 2 off-street parking spaces in front of 100 feet.
because.
Because I
they
guess
have double lots,
driveways.
They have double garages.
they-
Yeah, if they have double garages, you get 24 feet.
24 feet, I know. This was, oh. If they're successful tonight, and this, they sell their house. And somebody comes in and builds a new house.
Then they have to comply with the current
No.
ordinance. So if they did a new house with a 2-car garage, they'd get a 24-foot curb cut.
Right.
It'd probably end up killing more parking with that than it would with what we're proposing here.
There's just so little parking on the street in Beach Haven, that's,
Yeah, I understand, but like I said, when they come down, if they're not getting on their property, they're gonna be in the street somewhere taking up 2 spaces, so it's 2 for 2, and you might get 3 and 3. All right, those are my thoughts.
thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? All right, I think we've talked this to death. Can I have a motion to approve or deny this application?
Motion to approve.
Who was that?
Rick.
Rick.
Second, Penny.
Right. Mr. Balbo has recused himself from this, is that correct?
Correct. These lives within 200 feet.
Mrs. Eddles,
Yes.
Mr. Jenna,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert,
Yes,
Mrs. Leonard,
No,
Mr. Stevens,
No, I do not see the benefit, to the public. I think you're losing 2 on-street parking spots. I just don't see the benefit.
Mr. Tinquist,
No.
Mr. LaFredo,
Yes.
and Mr. Wenger.
Yes,
1, 2, 3.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Application's approved.
Thank you.
good luck. All right, moving on.
Got room.
Something I said.
There was. I just forgot. My neighbors. I'm on Marina Beach.
There you go.
Thank you. So I got noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Ready, Jim, for number
Yes,
two?
you can go ahead. Thank you.
Number 2D, Gustino, bulk variance to permit a front yard setback that is less than the required 15 feet, 12.5 feet to the proposed new front deck, and 8.4 feet to the proposed new front stairs, and to allow 0 off-street parking spaces where the requirement is a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces required for property located at 425 Fifth Street.
Thank you. James Raven on behalf of the applicant, Mark D'Agostino and Allison D'Agostino. So this property is located at 425 Fifth Street. It's a unique property in the sense that essentially there was at one time a 3-lot subdivision here, and there's 3 homes, and the majority of the block is also part of the applicant's home, but it's or applicant's property, but it's encumbered by wetlands. So there's a deed restriction that was attached to the application because of the presence of wetlands on the property. There's a very limited area that the applicant was able to develop the property. Prior owner actually developed it. But what the applicant is proposing here is to conduct renovations to the home, a deck in the rear of the property, a small addition on the west side, and the existing front entrance to the home is actually located on the east side of the dwelling. And it's a very small landing outside of the door, and it's not really that functional. So as part of the renovation, the applicant's proposing a new front door location with a front porch that does extend into the front yard setback. Both the porch and the stairs encroach into the front yard setback. So those are the variances that we're requesting. And with respect to the parking, that situation is not changing technically because there was only 16.5 feet between the house and the curb line. That's why we said 0 parking exists. They do park 2 cars out there, but technically they do encroach into the right of way. That situation, like I said, is not changing. There's still the same amount of room in the driveway area, but it's a pre-existing nonconformity. So I have Joe Barberi, who's going to provide testimony regarding the variance plan. I'm going to start with Jay Madden because I think a lot of this is architecturally driven. Before I get to Jay, I'm going to mark 2 photographs as Exhibit A1. And I'm going to circulate these, but the first photograph is a photo looking straight on at the house from the street. And then the second photograph is on an angle looking toward the southeasterly side of the home toward the existing front door.
She's got one.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, I think that concludes the introduction. I'll call Jay Madden, please.
Mr. Madden, do you swear affirm the testimony you give before the board this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, you want to?
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Madden, you prepared the architectural drawings that we submitted with this application, correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And if you could just explain to the board, because there's a lot going on here beyond just these front steps where we're asking the variance. So if you could explain the overall renovations, kind of explain the process a little bit, how they got here. And then after your testimony, we'll have Mr. Barbera get into the variances a little more.
Excuse me, Mr. Raven, I'm sorry, Mr. Mann, can you please qualify? and
Oh, I'm sorry.
also Mr. Mann, That's
I
okay.
apologize. Yeah, if you could just give your background, you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
In Harvey Cedars. Been a licensed architect since 1986 and had my office, J. Madden Architect, in Harvey Cedars since 1989.
and you've testified before this board a number of times?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Madden.
Sure. So, boy, this project's almost 2 years in the making. And boy, where do we ever get to work on a property that only has 2.5% lot coverage? It's remarkable, isn't it? I mean, in Beach Haven. So, Mark and Allison, and they've been doing this since, gosh, COVID. Plan to make, this is their year-round home. This isn't just another add-on, make a beach house bigger. And also cosmetically, make it nicer looking. I think that's why Jim wanted to provide the existing before pictures. And honestly, some people may think it's kind of attractive. We just felt we could do better, along with adding about 11 feet to the west and adding a third floor, a loft space, because you can imagine the view from this house is just unimaginable. It's so terrific. But frankly, we're spending all our time because Allison always from 2023 wanted a nice entry. And I kept saying the whole time, we can't, it's over the setback. I had just tried this variance a couple years ago with no luck. It's a real tough front entry. You come in almost a side door in that southeast corner to on a little landing to a foyer. And frankly, it's just, we're trying to make the face of the house just attractive. That's the only reason we're here. It's about 80 square feet over the setback. It has nothing above it that's over the setback. It's just a skinny, almost like a balcony-sized deck flanking a nice stair that fans out, which was frankly always Allison's dream, to have this flared stair, a double door, and that was it. It was a pretty simple wish, a dream, and we're trying to make it happen for her. It's that basic.
Thank you. And how does that compare to the existing entryway?
Sure. So I could probably walk you through by going to page 6 of our drawings. I don't know if that's possible to pull up our drawings.
I can't because we have-
Apparently,
we
yeah,
have quotes
technologically,
also
they're having issues with that.
Okay,
yeah, so-
fine. So, and I can surely pass this around to help you, but on page 6 in the lower right-hand corner, there's a closet called a new storage. And here's some dotted lines. There are the existing steps, and that closet door is actually the front door today. So you kind of sneak in from the side, from the east, up those steps to about a 3.5 by 4.5 foot landing, and you get out of the way your screen door, and you push in the weather-tight door, and you go. So just managing groceries and your keys and your mom or whoever has to come in with you. It's on anybody's scale, it's a tough entry. I can imagine, because you'll see in the site plan, the other two houses, whoever had the idea, they repeated that idea for the other two, because frankly, even though it was we have a huge, like bigger than huge lot, there was a deed restriction that said, no, the house has to be right within this box, and with that 61 by 47. And also we had to hold a 15-foot setback, and they put the house right on the 15-foot setback. So they were almost like urban planning here, trying to squeeze in oh yeah, we need a front door. So the answer was, hey, let's put it in that southeast corner ×3. But really, I think the architecture of the house suffered because of that. So we're here trying to make a nice front door, because really the front of your house is like your face, and you want to make that as your best efforts, yeah, like all of us. That's where we hang the Christmas wreath and the Halloween decorations, and yeah, it's just, that's the only, there's no, you couldn't say there's a real hardship. It's just, we just feel that the aesthetic pluses outweigh the negative impact on the master plan and street. Though I'm not a planner, I'm just an architect. So,
And the whole front facade is changing as well, right?
boy, is it ever, like, holy mackerel, yeah. So, if I could even find some of the old roof line, I could show you on sheet 2. There's a long slope roof heading down towards the street. That's all that's frankly left of the existing roof. We kept that, we hid behind it a roof deck, and then we popped up with dormers and different kind of smoke and mirrors, making that loft area, trying to conceal it as best we could. So, and then we overlaid that large, broad gable roof with a half-round window and the triple double hungs below it to face the street. And that really just, the entry is just part of that whole composition of trying to just make it look nice. The second garage door is new, the one to the west. And we actually purposely pushed that back 2 feet. So technically, our second car, because the requirement's what, 18 by 10? That second car to the west on our site plan would technically be legal, because it's not over the property line, even though the driveways, gosh, the pavements or the curb is another 10 feet from the property line. But still, at least we'll have one truly legal spot, and then the existing other spot is non-conforming because the garage door is right at the face of the house. And it's only what, 17 feet, 18, 17 and a half feet away, yeah, to the property line.
Are there any questions for Mr. Madden?
Yeah, Jim, I got one question. According to the deed restriction, it says no construction of any structure or disturbance of any kind is authorized on the 3 lots beyond the concrete monument area. So this is cantilever, but there's also roof overhangs, and technically,
yeah, so that was our,
can go beyond that.
right. So our first year,
right,
was the DEP saga, and our environmental consultant through ACT Engineers, Janetta Dix, through a lot of work, and they've done this for us in oceanfronts also. We can cantilever additions, but no pilings, no structure into that limit of the 61 by 47. So we're not here to ask for relief for those cantilever decks at all. We feel we've taken care of that issue with the DEP.
You're saying, are you cantilevering over past the line? Or
Yes.
is it just the roof overhang?
There's, as shown, there's 2 decks to the west,
Right.
and there's a deck to the north.
Because when you look at the engineer's plan, the transition line looks like it's right on the edge of the deck, unless I'm looking.
No, the existing, correct, it's right on it. That the house itself is right on the line.
That's the existing.
Yeah, so the 2 new decks, one north and a pair west, are clearly over that line. No doubt about it. We're not even pretending.
Do you
they're
have the
not.
documentation from the DEP?
I don't.
That
I have a CAFR permit. I have a CAFR
for
permit.
this footprint.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it enough to know, but I understand that that's the resolution was, as long as they were cantilevered, they could do what they're doing. And I guess we would just hope to say, variance is contingent on proving to you that documentation exists.
Mr. Raven, needless to say, that has to be a condition of approval. That
Right.
if this application's approved.
I agree.
The
totally.
DEP permit or permission for these new improvements
Yes,
has to be provided.
yes.
It has to be provided certainly before any construction can begin.
Yes.
And
You have
the
a
cap-
permit?
And you have the
Yeah,
capital.
I have a CAFR permit.
That needs to be provided as well.
Yeah, I don't know if the wording is clear enough to, because there was a submitted CAFR drawing that was accompanying it, so. But I honestly don't know the full backstory of the DEP negotiation in that was Janetta Dix's thing.
Understood.
Yep. Here we go. Let's see what's on here. And pull this out for a year. Yeah, so on here, we're just showing the existing footprint as the whole thing. In other words, we were allowed to build up to the property lines, south and east, up to, was it 47 by 61. So that's all that was memorialized. If anything, the biggest holdup was the discussion about riprap and Wooders Edge issues.
Okay, and just for purposes of the record, the plan you were just referring to was prepared by ACT, that's ACT Engineers. It's dated May 5, 2022, and it's titled CAFR Permit Plan.
Right, and then here's another.
And it's prepared by Jeffrey Richter, professional engineer.
So I have another one, approved CAFR plan 4/19/23. Kind of memorializing the same thing. At issue is the riprap in the wetlands area.
That shows the cantilever deck footprint.
No, it doesn't. And it really, I guess in the DEP's opinion, what is a non-factor. They didn't, as long as it was cantilever, they didn't care. So we didn't show.
I understand that, but we're gonna need documentation that
Yeah.
they didn't care.
Right, we'll have to satisfy that. We understand.
Yep.
We'll provide whatever documentation is necessary in the event the board were to approve the application.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question
Yeah.
also about the deed restrictions concerning the garage, and it says access to such parking shall be by way of a driveway leading from Fifth Street up to and under such dwelling constructed of porous material such as gravel or interlocking paving stones. And on the drawing, it looks like it's concrete. So what's happening in the garage floor?
It's my understanding in discussing with the applicant, the garage floor is currently concrete. And the way I interpreted that provision of the deed restriction is that it's just referring to the driveway to access.
I would say
The
that is
garage.
so, but it says under such dwelling.
Well, it
That
says,
means under the house.
right, but it says access to such parking shall be by way of a driveway leading from Fifth Street up to and under
And
such
under
dwelling.
such dwelling, access under such dwelling.
Right, but again, it's still providing access under the dwelling, but I didn't read it as requiring pavers as, just seemed odd to have.
Constructed of porous material. I mean, it could be interpreted either way. I mean, you wonder how good these deed restrictions are. I mean, people do these things to protect the property, and then people come along and say, well, I don't think it means that. I think it means this. So
Well, yeah, I mean, this was in,
that's my one concern about the deed restrictions about the, I mean, it's on wetlands to begin with.
right. This deed restriction was put in place as part of the original subdivision where DEP approvals were required. So when the house was constructed, it would have been right at the time that this restriction was approved, or I'm sorry, was recorded. So it must have been, I would imagine it was the understanding at the time that the garage floor was permitted to be concrete.
Bonnie, when I read that, I had the sense that they envisioned the house up on piling, that it was totally open
No
underneath,
enclosed.
and therefore it was stone or porous pavers.
Right.
And now and I don't know if this is breakaway construction
It
here?
would have to be by, it's,
Is the existing breakaway?
I don't know that.
But your
But
new
I would
has to
say
be
that-
breakaway.
D'Agostino's purchased the property and got a CO for the property. So it had a slab in that garage.
I understand that.
Right. So I'm wondering, where did that get reviewed back when the three houses were built originally.
But that's a deed restriction issue, and that's with DEB, I guess.
Right.
You know,
So I
wetland.
would think part of our, because usually the DEP comes down and visits the site if they're, like it's a bulkhead or something, you want to see existing conditions. So that would be all apparent to them when they reviewed the application.
What year was this house built?
Don't know.
95.
Yeah, 94 or 5.
And I mean, at that time, it went through the building department. The building department usually reviews these requirements and they issue them a permit. I mean, the concrete garage is under the house, it's enclosed, and there's no way rainwater's gonna hit it.
No.
If it was permeable pavers, it wouldn't do anything anyway.
That's why I envision it
Yeah.
being on pilot.
Yeah, but obviously the building department issued a permit and these three houses were built, they're all about the same, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I believe the parking stall size at the time, the 15 foot to the house was also approved because the right of way there, weren't any sidewalks required, so the right of way is long enough that, you know, you've got plenty of room to pull the car fully off the road. So that was a pre-existing condition that was probably approved when houses were built in 95 because of the severe restriction to the wetlands on the rest of the property.
How many bedrooms is this?
4.
Or just 4?
4, yes.
Huge house has just 4 bedrooms?
Well, yes, it's going from what, 2,100 square feet to 3,100 square feet,
And
but still 4 bedrooms, yes. 2 kids, grown kids, yeah.
And there's, the other question I had, when I went out to look at the site, I was looking for those monuments. And I thought they would be pretty obvious, but I did not see the monuments.
Right.
The survey, I think, referenced one of them, but obviously there's a
Yeah, I'm only
monument.
seeing one referenced on the drawing.
I think those monuments need to be put back in place if it's referencing one, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, the one on the southwest corner should be there, should be
Well,
findable.
I couldn't
But,
see it. It's not visible.
You're right,
So-
along that timber curbing that separates D'Agostino's to their neighbor to the east, there isn't a monument there to be found.
Well,
As I can see.
I guess what I'm saying is they probably should be in place because the limit of disturbance on this deed restriction is pretty paramount with wetlands.
Right, I mean, the back corner should be tagged.
And I looked at the historic aerials on this site. And it seems like some of the area of no disturbance in the rear has been disturbed. I don't know what.
I couldn't testify to that, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
the
just looking at
D'Agostino's-
historic photos
Yeah.
of the.
Sure.
Of it, but I think those monuments need to be put back in place
Mhm.
if they're not there.
Yeah, Mr. Barberi, who's going to be providing the planning testimony, did the survey as well, so he can weigh in on that also.
And the other thing I noticed on your architectural, well, there's a couple, I guess, a couple things, is the building height.
Right.
The building height is supposed to be from the crown at the low point of the street.
The crown of the street, so
Right,
we
at
average
the
the
low
middle.
point.
Yeah, so we average the middle.
Pardon?
We average to the middle.
It's not what the ordinance says. The ordinance
Okay.
says the low point of.
Right, so.
Of the front of, so.
Right.
To me, the low point is, there's an inlet, I think, off the corner of that. And I think the curve is like 3.5 and the gutter is
Right,
like
I'm
3.
looking at it, yeah.
I think we need the surveyor to do some survey shots to determine truly where the low point of this lot is, so that all the height can be determined. from
Sure,
that.
so and I don't want to speak for Joe, but looking at his survey, he has spot elevations down the middle of Fifth Street. He has a high point of 4.2 to the west at the street end. Then he has one at 3.9 in the middle of the neighbor's property to the east. Then he goes all the way down to 4 again.
I think they need additional shots, is what I'm
Right.
saying.
So,
Because-
like-
Because at the low point, he doesn't have one at the low point in the center line. And that's at 3 and 3.5.
Well, it wouldn't be at the gutter line, it would be at the crown of the road.
I understand that, but usually the crown is maybe 6 inches or something.
Right.
So if the gutter is 3 and the curb, top of curb is 3.5, it's probably even with the top of curve.
Right, so I would say that,
I would just like. would
and
just
I
like
think it's
more
fair,
space.
yeah, but I think what I would point out is whether it's 4.2 or down to 3.9, we're talking
I
about
think
this
it's,
much.
I
So,
think it's lower than that.
yeah, so regardless,
I think
I would just have to make the roof work. I wouldn't get a permit without it working, so I would adjust that roof down if the.
Well,
the
the issue becomes getting the CO because you're gonna need an as-built survey.
All the way.
And it's gonna have to demonstrate that
Absolutely.
you're under that 35 feet.
Correct, I agree, yep.
That's what I see that issue
Yep.
being. The other thing, and maybe Frank, I'm wrong, but on lot coverage, you can't include wetlands and wetland buffers in the calculation.
I believe you're correct about the wetlands. I'm not sure about the buffer.
Yeah, but I think he did to the mean high water line, which still is huge.
No, it's not the way I read the ordinance. It talks about it's under maximum impervious coverage in the ordinance, and there's
Right.
another section where it talks about it under definitions. And talks about lot coverage. It says, for example, if a lot containing 20,000 square feet contains 2,000 square feet of area mapped as wetlands or riparian land, then only the 18,000 square feet of the lot may be used in calculating coverage. And also, I think, impervious.
I don't know why I'm thinking that that was found to be an issue somewhere, but this was a unique subdivision. I can only tell you that. And to get these three houses, they ended up having to put those monuments in and they were restricted to these specific areas
Right.
with setbacks. So the house though, this house in particular, really didn't have a setback other than it could go up to the transition line. Between the houses, you had to have setbacks in order to give a space between the houses.
Right.
But that's how it was approved. So where they're building, where these houses were built are within the areas that were permitted regardless of coverage. Because of the uniqueness of the subdivision and the fact that the balance.
So
of the
now we're
tract
expanding it.
was wetland.
That's what
I
I'm
understand, I understand. But I mean, if Janetta Dix, who I'm familiar with from Act, is
But they're,
going to supply that documentation, subject, obviously, the board would have to approve this in order for that to be a condition.
but they're looking at 2 or 3%, they were saying.
Yeah, I mean.
It's not, it's 100%, basically.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say, when you really look at where they can build, they're probably, 55, 60% of the area on the lot that they can build in. So, but again, this is a unique subdivision at the time. And that's where they were permitted to build the house regardless of the coverage in that little postage stamp area.
But yeah, and the limit of disturbance is right off
Right,
the property. So I mean, there is no,
right,
technically, there's no backyard
There's no
there, there's no
backyard.
anything.
you're right.
Correct.
And
But understand that even the wetlands line, as per the Joe's site plan, there's a whole lot of lot upland of the wetlands line, and there's even more area above the mean high water line.
but there's a wetland buffer, and that buffer is what they're calling that transition line, because right up
Right.
to the house.
Right, and we're not interfering with that transition
No,
line at
but
all.
that's the buffer line. That's where all the measurements are taken.
Right, so, but I don't think that can be interpolated out to be lot coverage. I think they're apples and oranges.
So it's pretty clear here how they calculate it.
So
In other words, you can't use buffers or wetland areas in your lot calculation. It's in the ordinance. It's in there in a couple of places.
The transition areas as well as the
Yes.
actual. Okay.
Yep.
Frank?
So that's going to be, like I said, we're talking about variances here. So
Yeah,
again, I would be subject to getting a DEP permit.
That requires technically a lot coverage and all that variances for these.
Technically, but I'm not sure how we're calculating lot coverage here because of the uniqueness of this property.
Right.
So, Jim, I'm reading the definition of height. And so it says the measurement which the building, it says the measurement shall be taken from improved street or easement on which the building or structure is located in the lowest street. So that was intended to be, to cover a corner lot. So if you're on a corner lot, you have to use the center line of the lowest street to do the height. So in this case, when you look at these elevations, there's a 4.2 on the westerly end of the street, there's a 3.9. So they would go to the center of where the house is being built and take the elevation. It's not the lowest elevation in the street.
No,
It's
it's
the
where the
lowest,
house is.
it's the, where the house is to the center line,
And
Center of the road.
at the midpoint of the road.
And the outlet's right off the corner of the driveway.
Yeah, the outlet is at the curb line. This would be at the center of the street.
Right. The
middle
curb
of the
line, curb
Anyway.
lines.
I mean, the building department handles that, but I just wanted to mention how it's measured.
So Frank, as to the lot coverage and definitions and the buffer from wetlands, how does that, how do you see
You know, I
that?
guess we'd have to read it, but I'm saying if the board approved this, it's subject to DEP. DEP has a lot of interest in this property. So
Yes,
if they were to grant a variance for you to construct what you're looking for, it's subject to DEP approval.
I am looking at
That's how I
the,
would look at it.
the impervious coverage ordinance,
I don't know if
and
it
this
makes
is
sense.
212-27. B3A states that for the purposes of calculating impervious lot coverage, no portion of the lot which is mapped as wetlands and no portion which is riparian shall be includable in the calculation of determining permissible impervious lot coverage. But I don't see anything about transition areas.
So it
So
talks about buffers.
where does it say that?
There's no buffer technically required from a wetland that's on the water.
Right,
It
I'm
doesn't
just
have
saying,
to
I
be
don't see
fresh
buffers
water.
referenced in the ordinance. It seems to just suggest that the mapped wetlands is not includable, but I don't see anything mentioning buffers.
I think if you go under definition, it will also help you there in the ordinance.
It's just there.
Under definition, there's impervious lot coverage.
Right. I don't see anything in there that mentions wetlands or buffers. But
Well, if the ordinance is just talking about the wetlands line, there's more than sufficient property to keep the house under 35%.
right,
Because there's 120 feet from the property line to the wetland line
right.
on the frontage of the property. And then if you measure to the rear, it's another 100 feet. So if you calculate that area upland of the wetland line, there's certainly sufficient land to
Yes.
create a percentage less than the 35%. What, I don't think it's 1.94, but it's not anywhere near
Right.
35.
I agree. It's probably a bigger, even to the wetlands line, it's a bigger lot than the other two.
Right.
And I didn't call Mr. Barbieri yet, but I can have him stipulate at the time of his testimony that he will confirm based upon the current impervious lot coverage ordinance and definitions that we do not need a variance for the impervious coverage. So that can be a condition of the resolution as well in the event we were to be approved.
I have a question.
Yes,
Why in the designing of this house did you not put the air conditioner and the generator on the west side so the neighbors don't have to listen to it on the east side?
right. So out of the west wind and that salt air and, you know, having the life of the compressor, the condenser. Yeah,
Well, I've had one that's lasted 16 years, so.
I bet you have.
I bet I have.
Yes,
So I just think for the consideration of the neighbors, they don't have to listen to it. I mean, generators, don't they come on once every week? Have to be turned
Is it
on or something?
once a week.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they could sure be timed to be not in the middle of the night either.
Right.
Right,
But even in the middle of the day, they're annoying.
right.
So,
But I think,
or even in the back, put it in the north. They have no backyard, do they?
They have no backyard, but I probably couldn't go over that wetlands delineation line with them.
But you could put it on the west side.
I could, well, actually, that's on the line too. That's the same line.
House is too big.
House is too big. But it's 4 bedrooms and they're year round, and
I know.
how great is that? How wonderful to be here. How lucky they are.
Their neighbors will appreciate them more. They don't have to listen to their air conditioner and generators.
And maybe they'll consider that, for sure.
Hey, Jay, on the, above the new deck you're building in the front, it seems to indicate there's a roof over it. That
Yeah.
also gets into the 15 foot.
On purpose, it doesn't.
Okay, the way
It's only a 2-foot overhang over the 15-foot. So we were
Okay.
sure not to let that be part of this.
Because the 15 shows it going beyond it, but you're allowed
Yes,
to.
yes, let me show you more carefully why I show you that.
On the east and west elevations. it
Yeah,
shows it.
actually, I'll show you better on my sheet 6 again. There's a 15-foot setback line that dashes through the middle of that new deck. It goes east-west, and then there's like a U-shaped dotted line. It's actually the overhang, and that only goes 2 foot over the 15-foot. So the idea is that we're allowed to put 2-foot overhangs over the front yard setback, but that's all you get. Like 2 foot 1 inches, that's a variance.
Got it.
Right, so, yeah. And I guess you could say, like, looking at our front elevation, we've pasted on this roof overhang that's way up in the air that sails across kind of the whole front of the building. The purpose of that second roof overhang, which is a little deeper, is truly to functionally have, I'm trying to open the door and my keys and I'm holding the bag and it's blowing and I'm trying to get in. So that's a more functional lower roof overhang, that one that's kind of indicated as a metal roof on sheet 1. And that's, and also it's bringing the scale down too. So you don't have this big thing and you're only, 6 foot tall and you have this big thing over you. So it was a nice way to bring the scale down.
And the other question I had, where the existing stair enters, comes in, did you look at putting the deck and the stair in that way?
Did we ever?
And
You can't imagine. Because I was telling every possible.
And it's an
entry,
aesthetic
You
question,
name it, I
probably,
drew
really.
it. You, absolutely, I probably drew 10 of them.
Okay.
Ask Allison, but good for her. She stuck to her guns. She really wanted this front double door entry. It's part of her dream, so why not? I mean, you can imagine what a incredible, all our time, the cash to do it. It's a big deal for everybody. So she's very serious about it.
So Matt, so you're saying the way they're going to get in this house every day, the common entrance will be the front entrance?
The
They're not
front
gonna
entrance,
go
or
into
if
the
we're going to
garage?
try to mangle the existing ductwork, we'd love if they can pull in the garage in their car and it's blowing and go right up internally.
Right.
But surely if they can't, they're coming in the front door. Yeah, sure. And now they have to kind of slide around the side of the house and come up and in to the foyer is the foyer today. It's there today. We're just approaching it from a different condition. So you're probably familiar with like all the architect's drawings. Anything that's not shaded in, the wall is not shaded in, that's an existing wall.
Right.
Any wall that's crosshatched, that's a new wall. So you can see all that drawing on sheet 6, all those little, the existing bath, the existing stair, the existing laundry area, that's all there. Those walls are there. We're just turning that existing storage, or we're calling it a storage closet. We're turning that from the existing entry into a closet, just to square off the building and kind of anchor the base.
Move that entry over.
Is there an elevator? Where's that?
No elevator,
No elevator.
no elevator.
Didn't we, a year or so ago, Bonnie, put something in the ordinance about front stairs? being over the front setback.
You did.
Because there was a couple houses in Webster's lagoon area that they were trying to push to them.
Chatsworth, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was involved with that Chatsworth application. There's an ordinance that pertains specifically to the historic district that allows you to average front yard
No, we-
setbacks of adjoining
No, that
properties.
was the same. We did it in Webster's lagoon.
There might be something in Webster as well.
No, it wasn't the way the ordinance was written that, the violations, with the steps and the front setbacks.
Because if you shifted to that area I was talking about, only your steps would be into the 15.
If I shifted,
In other words, same entrance you have, I don't know if you have to shrink it, but if you just moved it over to not be in the center as much, but to be toward the right side of the house.
so shift the,
So you could set it back, the door would still be a left entrance, but you just envision shifting that door to the end of the house.
so.
That's what I was talking about if you look.
I would say that anything going along that setback line, no matter where I shift it, I'm gonna be over. And also, the east building face is also in the setback, the side yard setback. So I'm kind of locked into, it's like where the old entrance was about the only answer. I can't really do anything else without encroaching either east or south. No matter where I slide it.
But Jim is right. We just changed the rule on the setback requirements, counting the stairs.
Yes.
And previously, we did not count the stairs from the setback, and that
That's
was
right.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. We were here, yes. That,
Any more questions for Mr. Madden?
No, I went over, I'm sure as everybody else did, and I couldn't find the monuments, and I really wasn't sure what I was looking at. Truthfully, with all the wetlands, excuse me, in the back, it's very difficult to get a sense of this property, truthfully. I don't know, there's so much uncertainty right now. I just, after listening to Jim, Frank, Mr. Madden, I don't know, I'm not sure we're ready to go on this one. That's just my personal opinion.
Uncertainty as it relates to the DEP.
Well, the DEP, the survey where, that was supposed to be taken from, where the monuments are or not, that kind of thing. That's.
I guess to me, we did talk about a lot of different topics here. And one of them was the height. We said, we're going to address the height. It's not
Yeah.
going to be 35 feet, over 35 feet. So that's not an issue. We talked about coverage ratio. The coverage ratio does not seem like it's an issue at all.
Right.
And I guess the only thing to me in question is the stairs in terms of that infringement on the setback.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything else other than.
No, that was the intent.
But right now it's the stairs and the deck.
And that little balcony, correct?
Yeah, it's not just the
Yes,
stairs.
so
If you shifted the stairs a little, it would just be the steps.
I think I'd have to literally take away deck, not shift it, because no matter where I
Yeah, whatever
slide.
would fit into the space. on the
Yeah,
other
I'd
side
have
of
to
the photo,
literally, like the wings that kind of give the thing its presence, that 20 feet of railing.
Yeah.
I'd have to throw away the two side pieces and just concentrate on the steps.
Yeah, in other words, the
Yeah.
only difference between instead of steps coming out now to the east, they would still come out
Yes,
to the,
as it
to
in,
the
right in
south,
front
but
of,
the deck would fill in that space. That's all, the outside deck, which allows you to shift it in.
yeah, no, I'd have to literally take some of that 2.5 foot of deck. I'd have to just throw that away, make it like a
It
foot
would
and
be
a half
a little bit
deep.
smaller, I understand.
Yeah,
it's a
and I could do
aesthetics
that, and that
question,
would, actually, that change would throw away 30 square feet of the 80.
Yeah, it would only be the
I
steps.
think, I mean,
For the
I
15 foot of
misspoke, but it takes, roughly, that's half of the request, half of the 80 is roughly those two wings that make the entry. If I just concentrated on the 8-foot wide stair, that's about half of what I'm asking for. So that could be possibly a compromise if D'Agostino's would agree to it.
Mr. Raven, is that something you want to discuss with your client?
Yeah, I suppose we could, maybe after, should we hear from the planner first before?
That's fine, if that's the way you'd like to proceed.
Yeah, I think we'll hear from the planner first and then see if there's any other issues, and then maybe I can discuss that with my client. Next I'll call Joseph Barberi.
Mr. Barberi, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear affirm the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Barberi, you could recite your licenses for the board, please?
I'm a professional land surveyor in the state of New Jersey, received my license in 1991. And I'm also a professional planner in the state of New Jersey, again, received in 1991. I do have a Bachelor of Science from Montclair State College, 1978. My office is located in Totowa, New Jersey. We have been there. I'm second generation land surveyor, land planner. We have been in that same location since 1977.
Have you testified before this board?
Have not testified before this board, but I have testified for the Long Beach Township Board and many other planning boards and boards of adjustment in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Barberi, you did prepare the variance plan that we submitted with the application?
Yes, I did.
And if you wouldn't mind just going through the plan a little bit and discussing the variance for the front yard and the justification for seeking the variance.
Yes. So we did, as the board knows, not only was I the plan preparer as the planner, but I was also the land surveyor that did the land survey work, which serves as the basis for this map. We surveyed the entire block. Not only did we survey the north side of the street, but we also located the homes on the south side of the street to get a feel for what the neighborhood had. And you can see on our survey, the homes, the 3 homes on the north side and also the homes on the south side. And we also included the front yard setbacks to the steps there, the porches and the buildings, just to get a feel for what was going on in the street. One thing that you do see with Fifth Street is that it's an 80-foot right-of-way. It's a very wide right-of-way in the borough. Majority of the street right-of-ways in the borough are 50 feet wide. So this is again, a large right-of-way, giving it a feel of a lot of space. The other thing that, of course, was talked about is that this is a very large lot and the majority of the lot is natural open space. There are not many parcels left in the borough of Beach Haven in the natural open space. This is one of the few remaining. So, that's for any number of reasons, a positive for the town. And there are many street parking spaces that front on this lot because it's an oversized lot. So that is another positive that I see with this parcel. It's providing a lot of street parking, which the owner of the property is not using, but the township is taking advantage of. Again, there was a lot of discussion about how these lots were created. It was created by a subdivision, minor subdivision in 1991, and it established the wetlands and also the transition line, which really establishes the building area for the home that sits on this lot as well as the other 2 lots. Really, is my task as the planner to justify the variance is fourfold. I need to identify the reasons why we're here in front of the board seeking the variance. I also need to satisfy the 2 proofs that are required, that being that the variance does not affect the substantial detriment to the public good, also does not impair the intent or purpose of the land use ordinance. And finally, I would want to identify the proofs as to why granting a variance for this property would support the municipal land use law. So I'll start with, I understand that the board has a full understanding of the subdivision and the wetlands and the transition line, but I'll start with why I think that there is a hardship for this lot that the board should consider. And in my research, I really am looking at the building area of the lot. By definition, the building area is the portion of the lot remaining after the yards, the front yard, side yard, and rear yard have been set aside in which a building may be built. On a typical lot in this zone, the RA zone, your typical lot is 50 by 100. You have a 50-foot front yard setback and 8-foot rear yard setback. So simple math there, that gives you a building depth of 77 feet. This particular lot, for the reasons that have been discussed, the wetlands, the transition line, the allowable building area is, you have our lot, which has an envelope of 61 feet wide by 47 feet deep. That building envelope is established by the subdivision and the wetlands and the transition area. But when you look at that 47 by 61, you subtract the 15 feet, which is the front yard setback, and that gives you an allowable building area, which is 32 by 47. Okay, so the depth of a typical lot in the zone is 77 feet. The depth of our lot is 32 feet. To me, in my experience, obviously, it's why we're here, that's a hardship for the homeowner and also the architect to design a home that the homeowner is looking for. Again, this lot has a rear yard, but the rear yard is 6th Street. The rear yard in this particular case is established by the wetlands transition line, and that's a hard line that they obviously can't encroach on. So the hardship that we're looking for is the variance that we're looking for would be a C1 variance, hardship variance based on the lot size, the building area. Discussing any substantial detriment, the two-pronged argument of the C1 variance, is there substantial detriment to the public good? Based on the architect's presentation, there is the sight lines for the homes on the north side are not going to be affected by the deck or steps. As a matter of fact, the architect pointed out that the view of the home is to the north and to the west. So the proposed addition of the deck into the 15-foot setback and obviously the steps is not going to present any sight line distance to the lot immediately to the east. The home provides great views, not only for this home, but the lot in its natural state. It's literally, it's almost as I said, there are very few natural open space lots in the township, remaining many benefits to that, that this lot is providing, that the homeowners are not taking advantage of because they're constricted because of the environmental. But that's a positive for the public. The public can appreciate this lot, the natural open space, and what comes with the natural open space. A second positive of this lot to the public is the off-street parking that I mentioned on the north side of 5th Street. There are approximately 20 painted, marked, designated parking spaces, which are really fronting on this applicant's lot that he's not using, but the public is using. So that's a positive for the public good. I see no detriment to the public good if this variance were to be approved. The second prong is would this approval have any substantial negative impact to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. Obviously, with the discussions that have gone on, this is a very unique lot. Based on my observations, my survey, my plan of this lot, there are only 3 lots in the borough that have this situation. So this is a very unique situation. Anybody looking for a front yard setback of the decks or steps would have to come back to the borough, obviously, and present their case, present their proofs for the variance. We would not be affecting the board's jurisdiction on granting a variance, a front yard setback, or for steps or the deck by getting an approval tonight. The board has the option of obviously reviewing each application. As I said, it's a unique request. The hardship is the transition line in the back. The building area has been diminished by the transition line. So, that's our request. And finally, the points that would be promoted in the municipal land use law by an approval of these variances for the deck and the steps, but also the off-street parking, and I'll get to that, would be twofold. Those positives would be, bear with me one second. Obviously, there's no detriment to sight lines. The lot is in a natural open state, so an approval would promote adequate light, air, and open space. One of the caveats of the municipal land use law. And secondly, based on the architectural design, which the architect has put a lot of time in on, an approval would promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design. So those 2 proofs of the municipal land use law, I feel in my experience, would be forwarded if the board were to so approve the variance for the deck and the steps. Again, the on-site parking request is an existing condition. We're not making any change to that, but that is also a direct result of the building envelope. The fact that the building envelope, a typical building in the RA zone, has a 77-foot deep building envelope. We're dealing with a building envelope that's 32 feet in depth. So that we're not changing that off-site, off-street parking. That's an existing non-conforming use.
Thank you. And Mr. Marbury, there was a discussion about the impervious coverage. So the impervious coverage that you calculated on your plan, do you know whether that included the wetlands area and or the transition areas?
So we included, the coverage that we used was including the wetlands line. We used the entire lot. We will go back and take a look at the coverage calculation and calculate to the wetlands line. But based on that, we're still going to be below the 35% requirement for a building lot, for building coverage.
Okay, but you'd be agreeable to revising your plan to provide the updated numbers for Mr. Little if the application were approved?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, we also prepared the survey of the lot. Getting additional spot elevations along the crown of the road is certainly we'll do that. And again, the point about the building height, obviously that would be, we're not looking for a variance there. We'll comply with the building height requirement. And that would be done through the building plot plan submission to the building department. But we certainly will include additional spot elevations. And in terms of the monuments for the transition line, we did find one of the monuments, which was at the left front of our property. That's existing right in the driveway. It was a stone driveway at the time. If you clear away the stones, you do see the monument. We didn't find the one in the back, which would be the left back corner. mainly because of vegetation, debris. We just didn't get back there when we did our original survey work, but we certainly can get back there looking for that and marking that out to make it obvious.
I have a question about the steps, the front stairway. You said you surveyed the whole block. Is this the only property that would be encroaching?
Based on, for the 3 lots on the north side of Fifth, yes. So yes, answer your question.
But you said you did the south side as well.
Well, the south side is a different block, but it's on Fifth Street. And you can see some of the offsets there. We have directly across to the south of us, we have an offset of 7.5. We have an offset of 5.8, 14.3. So there are 3 homes directly to the south of us that do have steps
In the right away.
in that setback.
They were probably built before we changed the,
Mhm.
with the steps included. So you said the street's 80 feet wide compared to normal streets in Beach Haven of 50?
Correct.
What is the utility setback from the street to the property line?
So and I do have a scale with me if you, sure, if I may just grab this.
It's not good enough. Typical architect, right? Backwards.
What's that?
The utility area.
No, they.
Okay, so the inlet that we were talking about, by scale, it's 25 feet off the street right of way. Does that answer your question?
I'm talking about the distance from the curb to the property line.
The curb to the property line by scale is 20 feet. Again, this is a wide 80 feet.
That's pretty large.
Yes, the Long Beach Boulevard is 100-foot right of way. This is an 80-foot right of way. Majority of the right of ways that you see are 50 feet, 60 feet.
Is this a county road?
No, it's a municipal street, but just to correct you, your scale one plan sheet number. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, good point. I was
It's
looking
off,
at, so it's 10 feet, it's a 20 scale.
Yeah, I see.
It's 10 feet from the curb to the property line. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You're correct. All right. Yes. So then typically the street's 60-foot wide, there's 10 feet beyond the curb line on both sides. On sheet 3, showing other setbacks on the opposite side of the road. And I think there's one here at 5.8, 1 at 7.5.
10 feet is larger than probably the average.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're talking like a street like Angleside or,
Yeah.
you know, it's an extremely wide street.
Yeah, from the existing dwelling unit, they took the 15 feet from that front out protrusion. It could be very close to 18 feet from where the existing garage is already. So you're not planning on bringing that wall out any, are you?
No.
That,
Joe has it dimensioned there, 18.
yeah, there's no real dimension on this, but it seems like it's close to 18.
Mr. Raven, since, well, Mr. Barbieri is here, you had the opportunity to look at the review letter prepared by Mr. Little. There are at least 3 comments that I picked up. One's with respect to sewer and water utilities. The other is curbing and sidewalk that'll be removed and replaced if the direction of the borough, if any of it's deteriorated. And the other is the flood zone comment that all the mechanicals have to be elevated to first floor elevation, and in accordance with applicable flood zone regs, have to meet the most stringent regs at the time of construction. They're all agreed to, I take it, as a condition of approval?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barberry. Next up, Allison D'Agostino.
Ms. D'Agostino, do you swear affirm the testimony you'll give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please keep your voice up and speak into the microphone. Thank you.
So, Ms. D'Agostino, you and your husband, Mark, are the owners of the subject property?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and how long have you owned the property?
5 years.
And it's now your primary residence?
Correct.
And what was the reason for undertaking this renovation?
Well, like Jay Allen said, when
You have to speak up.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can lift it up.
All right.
if you need to.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay, we, yeah, when we purchased the property 5 years ago, we love the neighborhood, we love the people, the wetlands are just beautiful. We've named the birds, you know, we've turned into those people. And the one thing that was bothering me was the front door, because it was on the side of the house. It just didn't seem welcoming to me. So that was the one thing. We walked in, I said, I really just love to have the front door at the front of the house. So it was really for aesthetics. And then as time went on and we lived there for the last 5 years, my daughter was coming in our neighbor's house, helping them with something, same setup. It's like this wind tunnel with this vortex just coming down. Her hand got slammed in the door, broke her finger. It was pretty bad. So I'm like, and struggling with my mom, my husband's mother, up those steps, the wind, it's just been a little bit awkward. And then last year, I think a man came to my back door, my slider where I sit and do my work all day. And I'm like, there's just a strange person at my back door. And I'm like, a little startled. And he's like, well, I couldn't find your front door. And I saw the gate, so I came through the back. I'm like, all right. So it's just been these little things over time that have gotten to be bigger for me. We are here, all, you know, this is our only home. We plan to be here for the rest of our lives. We do have 2 children. It is only 4 bedrooms. I know it seems big. Our living area upstairs is so small. We have the kitchen, the dining area, and the living room are together. We can't even fit like a full sofa with a TV. I invite you over because it is deceivingly small, and that stairwell just takes up a lot of space. So it has this look of like a vast house, but it really isn't. We're happy there, but it's just, you know, so that's why we decided to enclose some of the deck so we could have a living room with a fireplace and a sofa. I think that was really, you know, the 2 big things. I hear your point about the air conditioning and the generator. The generator was like just put on there as a maybe. We don't really need a generator, I feel like, but it was just like, while we're drawing the plans, let's just put it down. We're very close with our neighbors, so definitely would not want to upset them and would consider moving that somewhere else if that was a problem. I don't believe it is, but it's definitely a point well taken. I really appreciate you listening to us and to me. This is definitely a labor of love for the past 5 years, and we want to do it right. We've been in touch with CAFRA repeatedly. We're very close with Jeanette at this point, and we want to do the right thing. So we're trying to approach this property with the love that I felt from day one, and that's to preserve the land, make this our home, and just try to keep it as nice and appealing and healthy, you know, for our families too. My mom is 87, my husband's mother is going to be 90. They come over all the time, and coming up those side steps has just been a little crazy.
Any questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that concludes our application. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to open this to the public?
So moved, Penny.
Second, Jamie.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? I don't think there's anybody here. How about on Zoom? Nobody?
I don't see anyone on Zoom.
Okay. Then a motion to close it to the public.
So moved, Penny.
Have a second.
Second, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
You're doing it good. You gotta do this.
Is there any last minute comments on this application before I?
Yeah, and if I could just add one thing. So as was stated, I think this is a unique property in the sense that there are a few things going on. You have the open space. It was a very unique subdivision, as Mr. Little noted. And as Mr. Barberi noted, we're very limited here with the depth of the building envelope. So now we're left with what we have. They're expanding into the front yard setback just a little bit. And I think it's particularly justified in this instance when you have such a wide street. So you only have 3 houses on the north side of the street, which is very rare. The rest is open space. Then you have this abnormally wide right of way that's out in front of the house. So the impact of any intrusion into the front yard setback is lessened significantly as a result of that. You know, with it being open to the public, there's no neighbors here that appear to have a problem with it. And I really don't think either of the neighbors immediately adjacent would be affected by this. So for all those reasons and the reasons stated previously, we request that the application be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Any more comments, Jim?
Yeah, my only comment is, I think we had a lot of questions. I wouldn't mind seeing them corrected or amended and fixed. And I think one of the big questions is really still the front pushing so far with the steps and the porch, whether there's something else from an architectural standpoint that they can do to lessen that front yard impact. So I'd like to personally kind of wait, if they're willing to wait, and have them come back with some revisions to address some of these issues that we have.
You want to carry it?
I would like to.
Well,
But
that's
up
the
to them.
request, that's correct, Mr. Stevens. So Mr. Raven, you want to speak with your clients? I think that goes to discussion that was had about the steps and eliminating perhaps, help me, Mr. Madden, the side walls or part of the deck. That's obviously speak to your client and then you let us know.
Yeah, if I could have a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You won't do so.
Yeah.
Joe.
I came down Sunday.
But that's, I just remember everybody was shocked. when he said, yeah, I'm going to this.
But see this grassy walkways?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you get. On the surface.
Yeah.
I tried to go to Sixth Street and look back at
You
it.
can't.
Went around- You can't, no, you can't.
I took, I got those storage areas that you can get, just go in the basement.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
And you'll see them way back.
That's right, yeah.
And I remember I looked at a couple. What you see is, you see that, you see all. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but, you know.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them. Yeah. Everybody.
I mean, I remember she's making some very
Yeah,
positive-
Sleeper Johnson.
Yeah,
Sleeper
Johnson.
Johnson. That's who he was hanging out with. Yeah, Scott Gallo. Yeah, Scott. He was hanging out with Scott and Sleep. Yeah, my brother came up from Maryland. My sister came from Colorado on Thursday. My brother's coming. So it was really fun. He came to Ross and house on Saturday. It was the weather. This weekend. That's so fun. Yes.
Which I don't even. I saw it. I just frankly just checked it. You don't do it.
That's why I said that there were so many different things coming, and I thought, not really comfortable.
Yeah.
But I do, you know. there's-
Oh, if they show the proof, then.
You know, because they probably shouldn't.
No.
It's like you never went there. And I reached everything that I found, and I got that vinegar next to it. Grass is absolutely- And so I sprayed a bunch of it. You get this vinegar, it's 35% acid.
It's too far. We didn't want all the units on one side. We couldn't do them. There wasn't, there was stuff back. Put them on front. We plan to put it in the, front. We're running across on Delaware.
Well, you can't get any of it. But it doesn't. Yeah.
You want to pack
It's just leaves that it's
Oh.
That's the first time. By the time I got to the end. Right.
Yeah,
you don't want to go too far. Careful.
His friends.
No, where was it? I don't know, just showed up on the gate. See, I was down there. Eileen was there and she says.
Where is it? Where is it? They had that. Yeah, that's where they did. They took the millions of that.
Yeah. Well, they did that. They could have done something different. But I think.
Like, the whole thing was pleasant. Back house. There's no, you can back that up. It's not a different house. It's on the other side of the street. Beach house. Oh, shelf. It's really. It's not the east one that goes up and down.
I know.
That would have been
This one bigger than this. Yeah. And then this one.
When I say she's raised.
She's got to
Yeah, you can't see it, but that deck, I mean, it's big. It's really big. It's a nice view. Right, on the west side, yeah. Yeah. And then-
My garage is over on the side, but I did change. the-
Yeah. Yeah.
Very clear. Is there anybody else? Mr. Schumacher is still there, Mr. Barbieri. Barbieri.
Just keep letting it go. I love to have two Christmas. It's a very good chance to come back.
But you're right, I water.
That's what's.
It hasn't been raining last week.
Yeah, but some, I don't know what they're gonna carry out. They were talking on order.
We got the same. You know, my landscape. Goes up as well.
There's 3 or 4 houses that come.
So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, what you passed. Yeah.
It's raining, it's very deadly. Yeah. So the first time I was home.
Same.
The south side has been. I looked it up, it was 95.
Well, they did.
When we get these.
Same thing, just completely. I think it's that.
No.
That one looks like it's worse.
I think so.
You know, the other thing, learn from experience. I can't believe I shoot myself as in do this. I know there's one thing in my life that I 28 very high. Rest of the.
I mean, there's not much left. to
Yeah,
subdivide it.
there's the-
That's coming really soon.
They didn't have one. They had a couple of ships. There wasn't many between.
Well, no, that's the thing, they keep having them.
So where the ship runs with the little masks. Put those black things over the lights, the lights are just blinking.
Oh.
Well, we have, our lights are, too. We're getting that.
You can.
Back?
Yes, we're ready?
Ready?
Okay.
All right, quiet.
Okay, thank you for allowing us the time to speak. What we would like to do is see if we could carry this to the October 6th, I believe it's the 6th, October 6th meeting. And what that would allow us to do is answer some of the unanswered questions relative to the impervious coverage, the other DEP questions, and the height questions. And we were discussing outside the design of the front stairs. We're not 100% sure if we're going to be able to modify that, but this will give us time to look at that as well. And Mr. Wenger, if we could just, we were trying to understand exactly what your suggestion was. If you wouldn't mind just restating that so we can understand where you were coming from as far as the front stairs.
So I was just suggesting to move it into the space, you'd lose the storage inside, but you'd shift it back, you'd be able to get the deck part out of the 15 feet. The door, I didn't look at the door, I know you think you have bathrooms past storage. The door would be on the left side still, so you'd have the steps coming out, but you wouldn't have the door in the back. So it changes the architecturals totally. Correct. So, yeah, you have to go up and then go to the left into the door.
Well, yeah.
Again, it's an architectural question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
This way the board will have a comfort level with regard, because as Ms. Lambert noted, there's some questions, enough questions were raised here where I think it makes sense to carry it. We'll get the plans cleaned up. I think 1 month is sufficient time, right, for that. And then we'd come back October 6th. And if we're able to modify the architectural plans in a way to reduce the infringement into the front yard setback, we'll explore that. But at a minimum, we'll have the plans modified to answer the other questions.
And actually, I think if you did that, if it worked aesthetically, obviously, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, I don't think you'd need a variance then.
I think still for the stairs, at a minimum, we
The
would.
stairs were allowed to be outside of it.
No, I think that was it was recently over the last few years modified where the stairs do count.
Okay, you want the other way, they
Yeah,
absolutely-
exactly.
okay, so-
Right.
Okay, so.
Mr. Raven, how, you can have the revisions and the answers to the board's questions at least 10 days before our next meeting?
Yes, is that doable, Mr. Barbary? Yes.
Okay. So the applicants made a request to carry this hearing to the October 6th meeting. So we just need,
Need a motion?
we need a motion,
Can I have
please.
a Motion to carry the meeting to October.
Motion to
6th?
carry to October 6th.
Second, Penny.
Mrs. Eddles?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Balbo, you can vote on this one. So Mr. Balbo,
Yes.
Mr. Jenna,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert,
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard,
Yes.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Tinquist,
Yes.
Mr. Lofredo,
Yes.
and Mr. Wenger.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you. And Mr. Russo,
Thank
no
you.
further notice is required. for that,
This is the notice for those, if anybody's still on Zoom, this is the notice that this application is being carried to our October 6th meeting. No further notice will need to be published, Mr. Raven.
correct? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To the drawing board, Jay. All right, moving right along. All right,
Yep,
you're on.
I'm on.
Review and adoption of the Beach Haven Municipal Public Access Plan.
All right, so the DEP back, I can't believe how long this plan's been going on. It went all the way through COVID. But it started back in 2016 and the DEP was discussing with all the towns and even provided a partial grant in order for the towns on the island to prepare a public access plan. They were mainly concerned that you were going to vacate streets on the ocean front, let people build more houses, and they wanted to make sure we restricted all the street ends, bayfront, ocean front, and any easements that were approved for public access, and they wanted it all in a plan. So,
Excuse me, they were afraid that we were not going to allow people access to the
no,
beach?
yeah, basically, they said, they thought under the current condition, you could technically vacate the end of every street and have an extra house there.
Oh,
That was
okay.
sort of what predicated this public access plan. Also, by adopting it and just acknowledging the street ends we currently have, you know, that you can go to the bayfront and see the sunset, that kind of thing. That's what's in this plan. The DEP was a little short-staffed. We probably went through a half a dozen people that had temporary status as the reviewers of this, and then each new reviewer added a little bit more. So we did do a deed restriction to make sure that all these street ends stay open. And then I think there's one or two public access easements, like on the end of 4th Street by Delaware, there's a little strip there that's public access that was part of the subdivision years ago for that street. So we need to adopt this. Once we adopt this, this gives us opportunities to get general permits for the borough that don't require a full-blown individual permit. Currently, we need a beach maintenance permit. If we don't have this plan, then it's like a $30,000 bill to get that permit. So the DEP has been kind of not pushing it, but all the towns are in the same boat. So basically, we're not adding any new public access. We're just acknowledging the existing public access. And this plan has to be part of your master plan. So that's why we have to have a public hearing. I don't think anybody's here, but I guess for a matter of cause, you should open it to the public just so we can say we did it.
And it's in the resolution, so yes.
And then
just-
it's, you know,
Dot
I
i's
kind
and
of
cross
explained to you what's going on. No surprises here. It just took forever.
Does this have anything to do with,
What?
can somebody run a business on the beach?
No, none of that's in here.
They need a permit. to
Yeah,
do
they,
that.
any of that stuff would either come here
Yeah.
or the borough would have to approve anything like that.
Okay. All righty, can I have a motion to open it to, anybody have any questions first?
So that's one quick, what's the impact when these ramps keep getting wiped out? Like, you know, down toward Gondola?
Nothing. The borough's got to maintain, once the beach project comes in, the borough's supposed to maintain everything. And, you know, that's part of our beach maintenance. But it's difficult because I know what you're saying. Some beaches are huge, other beaches, just the logistics of the ocean are cutting in really becoming a problem. So. But
Any other questions? Okay, can I have a motion to open it to the public, please?
Motion to open.
Second? Second. Okay, Okay, anybody out there want to say anything? Gary?
he's on the board. He can't.
Anybody on Zoom?
I don't see anyone on Zoom.
Okey dokey. Can I have a motion to close it to the public, please?
Motion to close.
Second, Penny. All in favor?
Aye.
She's not gonna call, you're not.
Oh, well, we're gonna.
Well, yeah, well,
Yes,
now we have a
have to-
resolution, so now we have to adopt the memorializing resolution approving the municipal public access plan for the reasons testified to by Mr. Little.
I have a motion to approve the resolution 2025-09.
Second it, Jamie.
What was that? Who made the motion?
Bonnie did.
Oh, Bonnie, you made the motion?
Yes. Well, actually, Eric did.
I can't make motions. We need the
Seconded.
motion, sorry.
Who was the second?
Do it.
Mr. Bell.
I second it.
Jamie.
All right. Mr. Balbo,
Yes.
Mrs. Eddles,
Yes.
Mr. Jenna,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert,
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard,
Yes.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Tinquist,
Yes.
Mr. Lofredo,
Yes.
and Mr. Wanger.
Yes.
Thank you.
Colleen, when is the reconstruction of everything starting for the roads and the sewer and the?
Oh, It was just passed, so I think a lot of it starts in October.
October,
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be completed by,
well.
we don't know.
Talking about Bay Avenue?
Yeah,
Yeah. They're gonna get, I think they're gonna start doing the lights pretty soon.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a year. We're probably not gonna have final paving until October next year.
okay, last question. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Okay, Jerry and Jim. The meeting is now adjourned.
Good job.
Frank.
No, no.
The pumpkin.
Now we gotta-
Yeah.